Hey there. Welcome to Her Truth Revealed, Unraveling Our Midlife Era. I'm your host, Wonderful Morrison. This space is for the woman who's done pretending, done hiding, and ready to step fully into her truth. Midlife isn't about fading into the background. It's a time where resilience lights the way and authenticity becomes the loudest voice in the room. In this season of our lives, we are more than just survivors. We are creators, revolutionaries, and unapologetic women rewriting the rules. I've been through my battles, rebuilding from loss, betrayal, and heartache. But here's the truth. Every challenge, every tear, and every setback has led me to this moment of profound transformation. Together, we're going to dive into raw, real conversations that shatter stereotypes, tackle the tough stuff, and embrace the powerful magic that is midlife. So, if you're ready to live this chapter with boldness and joy, hit subscribe. Share this episode with someone who needs to hear it and leave a review so we can keep this revolution going. Ladies, no more masks, no more apologies, just the truth of who we are. Let's do this. Hello and welcome to another episode of Her Truth Revealed, where conversations with midlife women are raw, real, honest, sometimes maybe a little too honest, but be prepared. Women of our age has incredible wisdom. And a lot of times how this wisdom comes out is in the most organic, natural format of just chatting it up with each other. So welcome to the show. And thank you so much, because today I have a special guest. I met this incredible woman, I don't know, like a month ago or so, through another incredible woman. Do I know non-incredible women? No. So maybe that's just a given. She saw me immediately. Audience, listen to this. You know, when you're out in public and there's 8 billion people out in the world and you're just like moseying along the world and saying hi to everybody. And every now and then somebody just stops and sees you and you're like, ooh, taken aback a little, like, oh, I can't hide anything from this person. Molly is this human being. Her line of work, I'm not even going to tell you. She's going to tell you. But I consider her an energy surgical expert. She sees your energy. Then when you ask her, what shall I fix within my energy conundrum of chaos? She's like, I got this. And she knows exactly where the incisions need to be. She knows exactly what she needs to take out or put in, put back together, untangle, unravel, reconstruct, and then boom, there you have it. Every conversation I have with this woman is enlightening. I feel like I go run the world. I can go run the world or do laundry, one of the two, because they're both really important. So I could go on and on about who she is, but let me just introduce her to you. Welcome to the show, Molly.
Thank you, wonderful. It's a pleasure to be here. Excuse me.
Oh my gosh. I want you to tell us sort of this journey of being a human healer. How did you get there? What did you do before? Is it something you've always known that you could do, or did it just magically appear one day when you woke up?
Okay, well, it's an interesting story. I grew up in a very small town in Eastern Washington and always had a dream to come to the big city and get educated and live in a tall skyscraper building and have dates and whatnot. So it was a shock from a small town to come to even Seattle, Washington. But through perseverance, I did get that career going, and I met the love of my life, and we had a couple kids, we built a couple houses, and it was incredibly stressful. On top of working at a job in human resources for 25, 30 years that I absolutely loved. And in fact, at the detriment to my family, I gave more to the company because that's what I identified with. So, luckily, my husband was the nurturing type, and so he was almost a stay-at-home dad, although he had his own company, so he had more flexibility. So we go along, help grow a company from 200 employees in Pacific Northwest to over 4,000 worldwide
Wow.
by the time that I left. And I absolutely loved the team I was on. I loved my boss and everything until I didn't. And the universe had a plan for me that they displaced me, I guess is the best way to put it. Which was I lost my identity. I lost what am I going to do now? And I never even heard the word energy healing. I was a closet psychic where I'd go in the closet and have appointments with psychics because I thought it was fun. But no way would I ever tell anybody. So anyway, I left that company, and then fortunately for my self-esteem, I went to Microsoft for a while, but I was a terrible misfit. I mean, they're very technical, and
I mean, your title was human resource. That just didn't even fit.
That's right. So I was a consultant for 6 months while a gal was on maternity leave, and I left there and looking for that next opportunity, and I landed on a company called, or a meetup group called Wisdom Soup. It was Ann Tucker's, and she was at Microsoft, and she's very spiritual, and so she put out this memo to all her friends to invite them to get together and meet about spiritual things. No one showed up. So she said, well, I guess I'm going to have to make my own friends. And so she created this Wisdom Soup meetup, and she'd even provide cookies. And there was, lo and behold, 26 people came. Now she has in that group, and it's moved from being in person to worldwide, thousands of people. But anyway, and each group session that we had, there was a special speaker, and there was psychics, and there was energy healers and whatnot. One of Ann's first programs that she got into was energy healing update from a program with Jackie Bean. So anyway, I signed up for that. I had no idea what I was doing, but it just sounded fun. And then that led me to bioenergy healing through looking on the internet. And you have to understand, I had no business spending this kind of money. This was a hobby. I was supposed to be earning money to pay for the mortgage. And so that led me to going to Vancouver, BC to be a bioenergy healing practitioner in Costa Rica. And I came back again. It was all a hobby. I wasn't going to do this for a business. And I kept looking for a job. I get really close to a job that was perfect in my mind, an HR job. And then I'd be cut off. And so eventually I said, okay, guides, am I ever going to get another HR job? And they said, nope. In fact, we've been working overtime on making sure you did not get that job because that chapter is done.
Wow.
You came here, you created before you came to Earth to be a healer. I've been a healer many, many lifetimes, and that's why it feels so easy. It flows. And yet I barely knew what the word meant, because when we come to Earth, we forget everything that we've learned or been in the past life. So anyway, I said, okay. So I put away my interview suit and my resume and started my own company and never looked back. That doesn't mean that it wasn't easy, or was easy.
Right.
Very difficult, in fact, but I just kept following my heart. And
how long ago was that?
It's been 7 years. Yeah.
7 years. 7 is like a magic number in I'm not a numerologist, but it's just a magic number was what I've heard. But in business school, 7 is magic. So when you have a group session or any kind of group thing, 7 is a good number. It takes that many times for people to recognize your name, like in the world of promotion and advertising. So 7 is kind of this magical thing, right? Cool. So it's interesting. We meet in your 7th year.
Gosh, that is so cool.
I didn't even think about that until you just said that. So I love the sort of this congruency of accidents.
Yeah.
Right. Like we don't see it because you don't really recognize the connecting of the dots of you're an energy healer, but look at where you started, human resource, like just the word itself, a resource for humans.
Yeah.
And you went to build this company that went from, with the whole team, that went from 200 to thousands of people, that's allowing people to live lives that they couldn't have otherwise had without this job. Right. So
Boy.
you're you're such an inputter of energy. And so when I think about how we met, right? So I met Molly through my forgiveness coach, whom I just like praise. And but I met you at a time where I was like, I don't know, I'm not sure I'm going to do this business anymore. And a lot of it is because I was head burnt out. Like my mind, my mental capacity of creating any more strategic processes or movement was just, I have burnt it out. I've spent 20 plus years as a business owner, and then now here I am doing it again. And I want to piece this all together, because the last thing you just said was you followed your heart. Here you've known this, you've known it in you your whole life, but didn't even know what the word energy healer meant. But you just followed your heart 7 years in. And for me, the transition of never gonna do business again, I'm not helping people do business, really came from, okay, get out of your head, wonderful, and get into your heart. And then it's you. Here we meet Molly, Miss Heart-led human being who has been following her heart in this entire energy healing space. Because I think the other thing we should recognize is we don't need to know the how. We just need to know.
Yeah.
So in this space of biohealing energy, can you dive a little bit deeper? Because it sounds so scientific and technical, and like, what is this bioenergy healing?
If you're not familiar with the chakras, those are the energy centers of the body. And when we get under stress and trauma or childhood or past life type of stress, the energy gets blocked in one of those chakras, depending on whatever it was. And if we don't listen to that, what our guides and angels are telling us, that the universe ratchets it up. And so it may start out as something minor, and then you don't listen that you need to eat better, or you need to get out of that toxic relationship, or whatever it is, because intuitively but you're not listening. And so it ratchets it up and again until you get really sick. And sick is physical, but where I see the most clients is emotional and mind and spirit. And yeah, they may have some back pain, and that may be why they first showed up, but that's not really why they were there. Back pain is all about energetically, you're not feeling supported. And so if we can release that energy that's blocked in your chakra, the back pain goes away. So through a variety of hand techniques, I can do this either remote or in person. And I can feel, and my gifts are in my hands, I can feel where the energy is blocked. And I dial in, and it's mostly hands off, but I'm gathering up the energy and sending it out just right now. In fact, your heart is so big. I can feel the energy right there. It's just so beautiful. Anyway, and I just go around and do this, and the person's listening to meditative music and meditating. Our eyes are closed if they're in person. And then at one point I sit you down, or if I'm doing it remotely, I pretend like you're there, and I can still tap into your energy. And I put my hands on your head, and I call in your higher self. And I call in my higher self, and I say, what does wonderful need? And intuitive hits come to me, they come to the client, and it's often a spiritual event, an experience, even just with the hands on your head. So I continue to just clear energy, and I stand them back up, and I lighten the energy so that they can leave to go home on a lighter basis. You usually do it in 4 sessions in a row, either 4 days in a row or 4 weeks in a row. And then the 5th session is 3 weeks later. And each session is a little bit more powerful. It kind of builds on itself. Oftentimes, the 3rd one is where there's breakthrough, like, pow. I have had, actually, she was just one client that they were scared to come back because they didn't want to disappoint me. I said, this is not about me. It's you stepping into your authentic and real self. So she came back and we went through the series and it changed her lives. That is what
Wow.
gets me up in the morning. And I love this work. It's just so rewarding. And I'm so blessed that the universe kicked me out of corporate and made me do this.
Right? Well, I think that there's I read once, it was originally coined by a French poet, but then Kung Fu Panda really took it to the next level where they say that you will meet your destiny on the road you avoid.
Oh my, yeah.
Right? And I feel like that's what we're all trying to, if we forget when we get here, our memory bank is cleaned out. And then we live out our lives. We're always seeking to find ourselves, right? We're always seeking, seeking, seeking. But through the journeys of life experiences, we avoid. We not that road, not that road. And I think that, some people can be listening to this and go, oh, I get it. I'm in. This is a thing. And some people are like, oh, geez, not another one, not a woo thing, which I really want to discredit the idea that it's not a real thing, that it's a woo-woo thing, that it's only for certain kind of people. Because if we were all stripped to nothing, we'd just be energy. That's it. Humans, hello. Like there is a lot of things you can't explain. Like, do you think about breaking down your food in your intestine? Is there a moment you eat, you go, and you think it, and you're like, break down, break down? No, it just naturally happens. And no one can really explain it unless you're a intestine doctor. And even then, they don't really know how to describe it. They don't know. They're finding new things. Like, remember just a few years ago, everybody's talking about gut health. Okay, that thing's been around forever because we've had guts forever, but nobody knew leaky gut, whatever, right? So, to the people who might be listening and thinking, scroll past through, I'm not listening to this, it is detrimental to your overall health to listen in on what energy healing is and what the actual, almost like desperate need for your heart to hear biohealing. Because we are all in this body with a multiple layers of bioenergy, cells you can't see, river tracks of our fluids that you can't see, right? Like I just watched Grey's Anatomy the other day and I'm going, holy moly, are they showing us how to cut people? This is crazy. Anyhow, let's move forward because I could go on tangent about that. So it's interesting that you said that where your specialty lies is in your hands, which again kind of fits my description of you being a surgical expert in healing the energy. What do you see is a common denominator in the people that you work with that, because now you probably can't help it anytime you meet people, right? In spaces, what do you think is the common denominator of what they are in desperate search for, and then what's the common denominator of why they're so afraid?
To answer that question, definitely love. What all any of us really need and want is to be loved and unconditionally with no judgment. What I see in clients, and they all come to me broken. Broken doesn't sound like the right word, but they're depressed or they're anxious or they're
Misaligned.
Yes, they're out of alignment. And so what bioenergy healing does, and they're at a very low vibration. And if you're familiar with the vibration levels, very low is like guilt and shame and anger. Those are in the 40 and 50s. And you want to be at a high vibration in the 200s, where it starts to get to be love and joy and compassion and enlightenment, goes on up from there. So what energy, when your body starts to get the energy flowing again, you feel better. And the universe only knows one word, it's yes. So when you're not feeling so great, bring me more of that, because that's how you're feeling. But the goal that we all need to achieve is to do what makes us happy and be in our space of joy. Be around people that light you up. If somebody's toxic or a situation is toxic, then it's not serving you. It's not serving them either. So it's time
Right.
for you to make a change or change your way of if you're an empath, taking on their energy or whatnot. But I always see when somebody's energy starts to lighten up, their life changes. Synchronicities happen. It's called the law of attraction, as you are all familiar with. But it's when you feel good, you're doing what you love to do, being with people that you want to be with, synchronicities start showing up, opportunities that you had no idea were even available to you, people that you hadn't heard of for a while. The universe brings all this, and it's waiting to bring you all of this, but you have to feel at that vibration in order for it to recognize that that's what you want.
That's a good one. I think, as you know, logically, because there's so much language around it right now, to openly out in the social media world, everybody's very aware of energy and all of the things, right? But I think you said a key point there. In order to recognize it, we have to be at that level too. Right. And that's why I want to preface that if you're in a place where this feels, oh my gosh, that tells you what level you're on, because being open to love. When I was growing up, I remember everybody would always talk about, like, if you stop looking for love, it will find you. And if you really break that down into even the microscopic view of it, it's because we stopped, that we become the vibration that makes us happy versus this desperation of seeking for somebody to make us happy. Then that happiness shows up because you're happy, right? No one explained it like that. They just said, stop looking. So then you convince yourself, stop looking, stop looking. It still didn't happen because you're trying to convince yourself to stop looking, which still is an energetic blockage because you're still forcing yourself to not show up. I've talked to so many people within this industry of understanding energy, chakras, healing, in the spaces of that spiritual realm, sort of the mysticism. But something I have not asked the people who are in this space, how do you do it for you? Like, how do you, keep doing what you do? Because I mean, surgeons still have to eat and have a family and drink, they have to still fulfill their lives, and to be able to stand for 12 hours on end, work 24-hour shifts at a hospital type of thing. How do you do it? How do you get yourself to be in that space on a regular basis?
That's the beauty of finding what you came here to do and be your authentic self and be in alignment, is that things flow and it's easy. So my most favorite thing to do is work with people because I love seeing people get well so quickly. They feel better, and they go out in the world and they spread their love and so more people get healed. You can walk into the grocery store. If you're at a high vibration and a light being, if you will, then others catch that. You aren't even aware that they're catching it, but then they go home and they're feeling better. So then it carries on to the family. So the biggest thing, a little lesson here, is we all came to this earth to learn the lessons that we signed a contract to fix, if you will, in this lifetime. We chose our parents in order to learn a lesson, and then we chose our partners in order to learn another lesson. And our kids chose us for some reason. But when you start to learn the lessons, and 9 times out of 10, the biggest lesson we all came here to learn is self-love. We are so good at giving and giving because it's more blessed to give than receive. And we never learned how to be open to receive. And the universe requires that. So when you're at a vibration, the universe goes, wow, yes, bring her more of that.
Yeah.
She loves herself. Fine. Yeah. So to answer your question, there is nothing that makes me happier than to do this work. And so it's easy. It flows easy.
I feel like we should freeze that sentence or that answer in time, because there is no burnout when you're doing what you love, right? And when you're actually in the flow of your calling. And I just say, as having been a business consultant for the last almost 6 years, is when I get it. When people have come to me, because I work primarily with this industry, the healing and the coaching industry. And when I hear the burn, I get it now. It's really, because I always wondered that, well, how do you care for yourself when you're caring for so many people? Like, my burnout wasn't business. My burnout was me. I love business. Like, I love everything about it. I love to me, it's a constant deconstruction and construction. And it's the joy of the exploration and the adventure of, like, oh, where can we take this? But it was in not really being in my calling of that arena, because it's a big space, right? It's like energy healing. It's a big space. What part of, is it my arm? Is it my foot? Is it my head? Which of these? And you specify that where you can set, where your expertise really comes in for you is the mind, spirit, right, and soul. And I think we need to stick to that. Stick to what we're, right, because that's what fuels you every single time to get in there, and it's what you do. Another thing, so Molly and I live in the same state, in the beautiful state of Washington, the Pacific Northwest, and 99% of my interactions with my clients have always been online, virtual. And Molly was like, yeah, no, we need to do this in person. And I thought, well, I don't have an office. Oh, I mean, I do, but not one I can invite you to, because my house is kind of crazy right now. So she says, well, I prefer my home, my office. And I was like, okay. So I go in already, like her, I feel like you have that piece of property for a purpose. There's such purpose, because it was so natural. It was such a natural landscape of beauty. And there wasn't like rose gardens or any, it wasn't like that. It just, I can sense it in my body of, like, oh, I felt safe. I felt okay. I felt like this is going to be a thing. And then you are already a walking human, like, love person. So it was natural for you to be like, okay, here's my heart and here's my home. And I say all of that to not be all crazy about Molly. I think because you're really truly describing authenticity. You can't fake that, right? You cannot fake authenticity. My mouth has a hard time saying fake and authenticity at the same time. And I say that because I am not that version. I like boldness. I like this, but I think I spent a lot of time trying not to be that version. You right? I
Yes.
want to be like Mother Earth. Well, I'm not. I'm the freaking moon. So I just wanted to paint the picture of just your natural essence of this calling, and this, like, my question seems so rigid now. Like, well, what you see is the same thing. And you're like, not answering that. I'm just going to tell you what the natural flow of life is. So then, what's this thing that you do when you meet people in person? Because you can't get around it, people. It's not like, okay, can we do it virtually? She's not like an immediate no, but she's very loving. And actually, why don't you come to my thing? So you offer this group healing space every single month that I am now courageously signed up for in March. Don't know what I'm walking into, but I know I need it. I know I need it. Was that the original format of what you wanted to bring your expertise in, or how did that come to play, and why is it so important for you to do every month?
I again blame the universe, because I terrified to do group in-person things. In fact, I tried online group things, and it didn't go as well. But it's because I was unsure of myself. So one time, I belonged to this spiritual path mentorship program, and we all meet online from all over the world. And we have a speaker every month. And I was new to the group, and the group leader says, okay, Molly, your turn is next month. You're going to do a bioenergy healing session for the group. And I panicked. And yet I said, okay. And of course, then I panicked, but I didn't let her know that, because I thought, oh my goodness. So what am I going to do? But I was in a yoga class in one session, one Sunday morning, and suddenly I got a download of exactly what to do. And so you just need to listen to yourself, listen to your guides and your angels. And people say, well, I don't have a relationship with them, but what the relationship is you. So you ask a question and you get an answer. And you say, was that my imagination or is that the answer? And if it feels right, if it feels yummy, it's true guidance. And I would go with it. If it feels like, I don't know, it's icky or I'm not so hot on that, then that is false guidance and that's your ego. So you need to not go that route. So I listened and I did it and never looked back again. It's another evolution to my growth in this healing world.
We need to get you a shirt that says "Never Look Back." That
Exactly.
needs to be part of your product portion of your business is never look back, because I feel like that is such encouragement. It's very permission giving, and it's very encouraging to realize that, because like a lot of times in the spaces of people going through healing or healed people, I've got myself saying, but the past me would have done this or the old me would have done that. And really, I think we need to like extract that piece when we're talking about the excitement of the version we are now.
Yes.
And so never look back. And you seem to have followed that with all of everything in you of like, I don't know, I just did it. Wonderful. I went and did this class. I did it, and now here I'm doing it. You've been doing it consistently for a couple of years now, right? Where you offer a in-person group healing event at a physical location where we get to hang out and feel all the love. I'm guessing. I've not been. I'm going to go my first time in March. Can't wait to tell you about it, everyone, when I get back from doing it, because I feel like I am the person that loves to jump into things that I don't know what I'm gonna get, because that's the fun is, ooh, what's gonna happen, right? So in that way, so now here are people who are coming in and experiencing the energy and experience of Molly. What do you think what's the one ingredient, right? So let's say, how there's certain places that you're like, wow, they made the best cinnamon roll in the freaking world. The other day I accidentally came across this bakery, and I'm not a big cinnamon roll fan. Let's put that out there first. Don't really like it. And my husband loves it. So and I thought, I am insane. This is insane. I know I'm not that hungry. It was so delicious. And I thought, what is the special ingredient? So I asked the lady, and in this bakery, there is a history of this bakery. It's 100-year-old bakery that was started by, a little family, and it's been in the exact same spot it's been in for 100 years. And they inherit it's only been purchased twice over from the original owners, and that third person is the person I'm talking to, and that's what they buy, right? The secret ingredients to this 100-year-old bakery. So of course she's not telling me what it is, but just knowing that, I was like, she knows what the secret ingredient is that makes a cinnamon roll that I don't even like, makes me want to go buy. I've been thinking about it ever since. So when people come to you, what is that secret ingredient that maybe you don't want to share with us, and maybe you don't even know what it is? But if you did know what it is, what is the Molly sauce?
And by the way, the bakery, it's not the cinnamon rolls, it's the love. It's heartfelt. You experience that in the bakery. That's what you come back for. The Molly sauce is, I guess it's just, I love these people that come. I don't have to fake it. And we sit down at the table and I find out a little about their background and tell them a little about what we're going to do, and they get comfortable. And when I'm in trance or I'm doing my work, it's not me, it's God. It's God's love and energy coming through me to them to help heal their body. And that is the Molly sauce is love, compassion. It's how I can feel. And when I first got into this, and actually when I was doing HR, what I loved was helping people, being there, showing up from a place of love, being of service from a place of love. That comes from being very blessed.
Wow. I don't know about any of you listening, but I feel like That's it. I mean, Molly doesn't offer quite yet a package to attend these monthly events that I feel like now, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you infuse yourself in that space of Molly sauce love? I'm guessing that this is not this generic blanket of like, love the world. I don't, I think we really need to stop also convincing ourselves that love is just this one thing, because every human has the energy of love within them that is specialized to them. Right. And that's where I feel so encouraged that I'm loving myself enough to go, to sign up, to register myself. Now, again, Molly did not pay me to promote this. Okay, this is not a thing. I'm just expressing my own experience of why, as human beings, we have to stop talking about what we would like to have, be, and do, and have the courage and take that brave step and do the thing that we're most afraid of.
Yeah.
Be seen,
Yes.
be heard, be loved, be respected by another human soul that is that genuine walking person, because you've been there, done that, you've experienced it. You know, it's not like you've lived this long just to be like, I've lived this long, great, cool, right? You've lived this long to share your gift.
Thank you.
And you've done it all. And so, as we get closer to the end of our conversation, I ask one question of every single one of my guests. You're walking down the street, you walk into a coffee shop, and you happen to see 25-year-old Molly. Take yourself there. 25-year-old Molly, what would you say to 25-year-old Molly that she would actually listen to?
I'm not sure 25-year-old Molly would have understood, because I was so driven and task oriented. But what I would encourage everyone to do, no matter what age, in order to be fulfilled, is all you have to do is do what lights you up. Be with people that you love and that you feel light and fun. Have fun. Go to the beach. Go play with your dog. Those kinds of things will continue to allow the universe to just change your life. And I wish I could have understood that at age 25. So I have clients that are 25, 30 years old, and I tell them they're so blessed to be able to recognize this path, but I'm not sure I would have understood it at age 25. But again, it's just a matter of do and be whatever makes you happy, lights you up, and staying away from things that bring you down. People, toxic relationships, toxic environments. Go hang out at that coffee shop. If that place lights you up, yes, it's all the difference in the world. It's all you need.
And I love that you say it with such emphasis of love to go do what makes you happy. It's not a command. It's not a telling me what to do. You're saying it from the space of this truly is the answer. And whether you do it or not, you're just going to pray for them anyways. Is what I feel like. I don't know if that was the intention, but that's what it feels like. And I am always so honored to be in your space. I'm always feeling as if it's, ooh, today I get a treat. I get a treat. Woo! I thank you so much for bringing your all of you to this conversation. It has given me such value and benefited me so much every conversation I have with you. And I just encourage everyone, if this conversation has done that for you too, share it with someone, share it with your cousin, your next door neighbor, the person in line at the coffee shop, because I feel like that is the way that we can heal each other. There's so much talk of our world is falling apart. What can I do? Well, why not share an enlightened conversation? Share that. Let the world hear people who exist in love on a regular basis. Let them hear what that sounds like. We hear so much anger in the world. I'm good. I am good. I've had enough of that today.
Yes.
Maybe a little bit tomorrow, but not today. So Thank you so much, Molly. Is there any last words you'd like to impart or?
I share everything that you said about being with me. I share that with you, and that's because we are like-minded. We are from the heart. We are the light. We are light workers. We're here to be of service, to help others see the light and live a beautiful life. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Please go and watch us on YouTube, listen to us on all podcast platforms that have it, and then go review or rate, review, give us a review. But follow my mother's best advice. If you've got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. So leave us a review, and then go out there and be the light worker that you are. That's the message for the day. Go out there and be the light worker there. And if that scares you, do it even more so because it scared you. And until next time, everyone, thank you so much for listening in. And thank you again, Molly, for being here. Until next time, toodaloo. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much for being with me on today's journey. If you felt something resonate, if you saw yourself in this conversation, please take a moment to subscribe. Share it with a friend who needs this space and leave a review. It helps others find us, and it's a small way you can be a part of this powerful movement. Ladies, this isn't just a podcast. It's a community, a revolution, a place where midlife women come together to embrace our hard-earned wisdom and vibrant truth. So thank you for being part of this. Remember, it's time. It's time to step into our truth. No more holding back. Midlife is ours to own, and it's only getting started. So, until next time, take a breath, honor your journey, and live with audacity, courage, and joy. This is our time, our truth, unraveled, revealed, and celebrated.